Welcome back, CEO Squad. I want to talk about something I have been struggling so much with personally, and that is role switching as a creator. Half the time in our business, we have to be really creative. We have to be in a certain mental state. We have to be inspired. We have to have adaptability and flexibility to make things, to make the thing. And then on the other side, we have to have this business brain, this very strategic and analytical and focused and structured piece of ourselves. And switching between the two can make me want to pull my hair out. So I'm going to share a little advice on how I manage role switching between being a creative and running my own business, and I hope you find it useful. So first, we have the creative brain. The creative brain is where you have your imagination thriving. It's the artistic side. It's driven by intuition, creativity, self-expression, all the things. And this is the part that helps you create new and exciting content, trying out new characters or new rules or personas, just experimenting with themes and angles and styles and production and all the rest. Then you have your business brain. This is the analytical side, the really focused side that's strategic about growth and understanding platforms and running experiments and testing things, optimizing how you increase traffic or fan site subscription rates. This is the side that's talking about operations, scaling your business, and building something sustainable. Now, for the practical advice, how to get these two sides to function somewhat together is difficult, if not impossible. One piece of advice that has helped me a lot is writing down all the creative ideas you have in one place when they come to you. Inspiration is fleeting. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle. So you have to be ready to jot it down and put it away when you need it, because when you need inspiration, you can't call it on demand, but you can pull that list out of somewhere and then put it to good use. So write down all ideas, have like a brain dump place, whether that's a notepad, whether that's an Asana board, whether that's just a list on your phone. Have a place to put ideas when that lightning does strike. Then later, when you're in your business brain mode or your analytical side, you can get strategic about them. You can filter through the ideas, you can plan them, you can add all of the concept and conceptualization that comes with them to bring them to fruition. The hard part about being a creative and being in business is recognizing when to switch. I struggle with this all of the time. So here are some cues for when to switch. Pay attention to when you're feeling creative versus when you're feeling more practical. If you notice that you're stressing out about financials or logistics or just trying to film content, this might be a sign that you need to switch to your business mode. If you notice that you are having trouble focusing or that you have all of these ideas and you can't seem to capture any or make decisions, this might be the bustling of a creative brain. And this might be when you want to say, hey, not doing anything important today, I'm gonna go shoot content. That is an indicator that you need to make the switch. Now, to talk about practical advice, use mental or physical triggers to make the switch. This has been such a game changer for me. Say you're filming content and you're super creative and inspired, and then you go to edit the content. Editing is also super creative and inspired, but now you're at the end of that. Let's say you set a 5-minute timer, maybe a kitchen timer, or maybe a timer on your phone. Once that 5 minutes is up and your timer goes off, that alarm is your signal to switch to business or practical and strategic mode. Now you've got the content filmed and edited, now it's time to schedule it. Let's get into business mode and schedule the content. Using triggers or physical things to help you make these switches can help you understand which version of yourself is behind the wheel, driving the car at which time. So using alarms, using kitchen timers, or even something I tend to do is I use the light in my office. When I turn on that light in my office that says my name in the glowing neon, that is my sign that I'm in business mode. I'm here to crush tasks, dominate, and do things. When I turn that light off, it's because I'm going out of the office to film. I'm physically leaving my office, which for me is an indicator I'm going into creative mode. So even signs like that are actually in your environment, those can be applicable just as well. You can also consider using emotional cues. So if you're feeling really drained or really uninspired, maybe it's time to stop creating and switch into analytical, practical mode. Switch to your business tasks, because they don't take a lot of creativity or a lot of consumption of like the brain power. They really just take doing the thing, taking the action or behavior, checking something off your list. So when you're drained, typically that is a sign or an emotional cue that you're leaving your creative brain. You can't stay in that state anymore. It means rest. So once you're feeling that way, you can move on to some business tasks that are just mundane, repeatable, not taking a lot of thought or concept or conceptualizing. They're just taking an action and doing a behavior. That is a great way to also know when to switch. Something else I think is really fundamentally important is actually just knowing yourself as a person. When I wake up in the morning, I am most focused at like 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. For some reason, I can sit in the office and just crush tasks at that hour. I don't know what it is, I guess because I'm rested. But once I get into like 11 a.m. to like 3 p.m., that's where I feel really creative. I want to film, I want to take pictures, the sun is usually out. I want to be doing creative things. After 3 p.m., I am so drained and dead tired. I want to be done with my workday. This is when I can usually go and switch environments, go to my couch and pop open a laptop and maybe knock out like a few more business tasks that I can feel good about while I'm kind of unwinding and relaxing. So knowing when you ebb and flow as a person is also going to be something that helps you cue when to switch roles and when to switch which brain you're using. So for me, early morning, business brain. Late morning to midday is going to be my creative block. And then at the early evenings, it might be a little bit more business brain while I wind down and go into purely personal mode. When you start to know those things about yourself, when in your day you are feeling creative or you're feeling more business and structured brained, that's when you can start to time block for those things in your life. So if you know at a certain hour you're really creative, time block that for your filming. If you know at a certain hour you're really productive and you're really great at crossing tasks off your list, time that for your business brain and getting those tasks done. You can help yourself by reducing friction between these things if you just simultaneously align when you naturally feel like doing them to the time block on your calendar. Now, there are some tips and tricks and like hacks you can use for moments where you need to tap into your creative brain or tap into your business brain. So here are some of the things that I like to do. When I need to tap into my creative brain, I go to GPTs. If you're not familiar, we have a product called gpts.ai, and it's essentially ChatGPT for adult creators. Why this gets me inspired or how this gets me into my creative brain is it'll give me content inspiration. It'll give me video script inspiration. It'll literally be at my fingertips to explore ideas and seek out things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of myself. So it's almost like a bottomless pit of inspiration, and I love to use it as such. So if I need to get inspired and I'm just not getting anything, GPTs is always what I resort to. Now, if I need to activate my business brain, something I like to do is create and set goals. I like to look at my schedule, reorganize my schedule, refocus myself. I like to set goals for the day, for the week, for the month, maybe my quarterly goals. Another thing you can do is start to set up a test. So what am I testing this month? What do I want to see improvement in my business? How will I test that? How will I track it? How will I measure success of that? Getting into that will help kind of focus you into a structured and strategic state of mind. So if you need to tap into business brain, think about running a test. What does that look like? If you need to tap into a creative brain, think about heading to GPTs and asking for some inspiration. It will supply it endlessly. Finally, I think it's really important to just talk about spaces. Having a space to be creative and having a space to be productive and business oriented is also super helpful. I already alluded to the fact that in my office, in this bubble, this is my business space. This is where I'm strategic, I'm focused, I'm crushing tasks, I am doing the things that will move my businesses forward. When I leave this room, the house is more light, more airy, there's more distractions, there's more things to see and do, but I have a space in my home where I'll film. So I have a space to film and be creative, I have a space in my office to be productive, and I keep my different dualities, my different parts of my identity for being a creator in these different spaces. I know when I show up to the office, it's business as usual, and I know when I show up in my guest bedroom, it's filming as usual, and I get creative. If you have the honor and the privilege of being able to have separate spaces for your work, this can be a really great business hack to switch between these roles by switching the environment you're in. And finally, I just want to close out this video with saying, you should embrace this. You should embrace the fact that you have this side of yourself that's super analytical and strategic and business-minded, and embrace this other side of yourself that's super creative and fun and inspired and inspires other people. You have duality in your business. You have duality in yourself because that's what led you ultimately to this career. So understanding that while achieving some sort of balance realistically is going to be difficult, It's more about knowing when to put on which hat and when to be in which role, and doing so effectively so that in the end, you're getting the outcomes and the results that you want. If you're finding that things aren't getting promoted, aren't getting published, aren't getting scheduled, you need to be more wearing your business hat and in your business role. If you're finding there's not enough content being created, social content, explicit content, you need to get in your creator hat and get into that role. But understanding where you fall short and how to pull levers to make sure each role is getting the necessary attention and moving your business forward in the necessary way is a fundamental way you can succeed as a creator. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope you switch roles very effectively. And if you do so, comment below and let me know exactly what's helped you do it so that maybe I can take some of your advice for a change. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.